Well, gentlemen, got a question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
According to the coaches poll, Alabama's ranked eighth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too high, too low, or just right?
Can we
I
look
would.
at it for 1 second? Just look at it again.
3 words. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. What can I say? I'm a huge Gravity Falls fan. Alrighty, so we've got the top 10 again. We've got the rest of the top 25 from the coaches poll via USA Today. And there is basically two, three, four SEC teams in the top 10. We basically got three Big Ten teams in the top 10.
No surprise.
We'll start with you, Jeffrey. How are you feeling about Alabama being at 8?
Me and Mark absolutely agree here. I 1000% agree. They should be ahead of Oregon without a doubt. That's just a no brainer. Dante Moore, I'm not a massive believer. I know that's a projection, but I mean, realistically, you're just looking at the grand scheme of things. Oregon, Alabama, what Oregon lost. Bama's bringing a lot back. We've just got a better team. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like even if Ty Simpson's not the greatest quarterback, we've won in the past with not the best quarterbacks because of great teams. And Georgia's done it too. Honestly, their 2 championships with Kirby Smart, not a fantastic quarterback, pretty good college quarterback though, but a great team, got it done. You don't need a great quarterback. So Dante Moore, he's not going to have as much talent around him as Simpson's going to have at Alabama. So Dante Moore's going to have to be really, really good to win at a high level, and I don't know if that's going to quite be the case. So I would have Alabama ahead of Oregon for sure. Then after that, I don't know. Honestly, it's the problem is that you've got all the teams ahead of Alabama that had significantly better seasons than Alabama last year because they all made the playoffs. And I know Oregon did too, but Oregon, I'm kind of projecting it to be worse. But you're talking about like Georgia, the team we beat. They're a possibility, but they're at 4. So it's like, should they move all the way down and Bama should pass them? I don't know. Clemson people think are going to be a lot better, and I agree with that this year. And Notre Dame, had to Will's point, has a lot of talent still. It's just unproven quarterback. So honestly, I would argue maybe for Bama over Georgia, but again, because of where they ranked them in the coaches poll, I would put Bama at 7, I guess.
Zachary Will just says that Alabama is underrated, but as far as staying focused and motivated, he'd swap Oregon and Alabama. Voice college football, Mark Rogers himself believes that there are 7 teams that can win that natty. Agreed. And he also says, I don't know if Clemson had a better season than Bama. Their best regular season win was Pitt.
Yeah, Alabama had a worse season because they didn't make the playoffs, if you're going off just that fact. But if you're going off of wins, yeah, Alabama beat the holy, whatever, just completely destroyed LSU, beat South Carolina, beat Georgia. Clemson doesn't have that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the playoff, unfortunately, is just live or die now, where if you make that, you had a better season in basically 99% of American football fans' eyes. It's just the way that it is. Even though I would agree with Mark, it's just saying it, legitimately, like objectively, yes, Clemson better season playoff. But yeah, I think it's like this. I would agree with you, Mark, but unfortunately the playoff just kind of ruins, the discussion of whether, in most people's eyes, of whether, who had a better season. Because you make the playoffs, they're just going to say you had a better season. But I agree.
Well, we'll go to you next. Is the ranking too high, too low, or just right for the Crimson
Jeffrey
Tide?
stole my idea. I was going to compare Alabama and Georgia, but I mean, I think the ranking, it's fair enough because I think a lot of it's based off of what they did last year. And I feel like the other teams that are ranked ahead of Alabama were more consistent throughout last season.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Clemson, really. I mean, Clemson is different because they're bringing like almost everyone back. But I think they're doing it like based on what the teams did last season and what they're bringing back. And Alabama they had those blips. They had the Oklahoma blip. They had the Vanderbilt blip.
Just
And I think that's
inexcusable
what they're
losses.
doing. That's what it's based off of, I think. Whether it's wrong or right, I think that's what the coaches looked like and their SIDs looked at.
Mm.
Richie, we go to you. How do you
I'll
feel
say
about the
that,
ranking?
yeah. So I will go ahead and say this. Couple teams really stand out to me. Georgia's got a question mark at quarterback with Gunnar Stockton. What does he prove? You haven't really had to win off of a quarterback, except for when you had Stafford and Aaron Murray, two of the better ones I've seen in a long time. You just like Jeffrey said, Georgia had the best pieces around Stetson Bennett. He was a talented college quarterback. NFL wise is a bit different. Now you have question marks with Carson Beck going to Miami. Is he still good? Is he going to have a what I call a third time's the charm season where he's on the one last ride? He's with Cristobal and company. Now you get to tell yourself, is this what needs to happen? Because I think Carson Beck can play. I've never said he was terrible, but you've got to buy your teammates off the field, and he couldn't buy his teammates at Georgia off the field. Like AJ McCarron said on the Dynasty podcast, you want to be able to chill with your DBs at lunch or dinner. You want to be able to chill with your receivers, your cornerbacks, your kicker, and your coaches and have that relationship. He had to show himself the door at Georgia because he couldn't get that relationship together. Now, whether he can get it together at Miami is going to be a different story. LSU, I think Garrett Nussmeier is a top quarterback. He may have better numbers than Lenora Sellers. I previewed this on the SEC show we do. Your only biggest problem is Lenoris had less interceptions than you did. Maybe that's what they're going to look at. There was our A&M guy called in, and he said that we're never saying that Garrett can't play. We're never saying that Lenoris can't play. But we look at turnovers. Turnovers sometimes are going to cost you. Some of the Garrett turnovers last year, he had like 13 interceptions to Lenoris's 7. That's not going to buy you really a good look. Now, he's got a good arm, but Brian Kelly is in the hottest of hot seats this year. They're going to buy him out. And that's not to say that I have any disrespect for LSU. But your last 3 head coaches, Coach Saban, Les Miles, and Augeron snuck one in there. You're on your 4th season at LSU. Those fans aren't going to put up another either I didn't make the SEC championship or they're not going to make the playoff nor the national championship. We get it. And in Louisiana, your 2 things are the LSU Tigers and the New Orleans Saints, okay? But more times than none, it's the LSU Tigers. It's a big logo. You just won in baseball. Okay, we get that. You're building a baseball program, but your football program's got to get it together. You know, you lost Will Campbell. How is that going to affect Garrett Nussmeier's ability to step on the field and make plays? You have 2 good guys that I have vouched heavy for on the defensive side with Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks. I think those kids are oodles talented. You have an okay receiving core. Is it going to be like it was with Keyshawn Butte and Malik Neighbors and Jace and Jefferson? Probably not, but you guys are definitely talented. Now, Oregon, Dante Moore to me, I like the kid, but is he going to do what you don't know. I would swap Alabama for that because of who we have, but people always forget we're a big question mark ourselves because they haven't seen Ty Simpson play. But people forget he went to the All-American as a senior and he was a 5-star quarterback. So again, I think that Alabama has a very good shot, but it's the board. And I agree with Will what you said. Those 2 funky losses we took to Vanderbilt. I'm not going to accept the Tennessee one because Tennessee is a toss-up every year. Nico can play. Nico was elite, but he was to me not worth what he wanted because he had to have a second season. If this second season he came and balled out, great. I can sit back and say maybe. but you don't know. And Jeffrey, you were right. That's just a prediction. Mark said the same thing. I agree with both of you guys. That's a huge prediction. Notre Dame, for Will, your take. I like Notre Dame. I think you guys have a great running back in Jeremiah Love, or Love. Pardon me on his first name, but Love. I think he's a very solid running back. The question is, does your guy that comes in, what is it, Steve somebody?
CJ Carr, because
Okay, you're playing
Steve
Carr.
transferred
Okay.
out. Yeah.
The other guy transferred to Syracuse. Question mark at the quarterback position.
Can I
But
say?
yeah.
So Mike Denbrock, who's the coordinator, I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like he did a great job in 2015 when Malik Zaire went down in that game
Yeah.
against Virginia. I mean, Deshaun Kaiser ended up having a great year that year, and he was a redshirt freshman. And he did the same thing with the Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ridder in his first season. I mean, it was only the American, but they went 10-2 with the redshirt freshman quarterback. So I have that trust that he can get CJ ready to have a good season. But it might not work out. But like I've seen like from the past that he can get it done with the new quarterback.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you guys have Marcus Freeman, and I have a lot of respect for
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman. So he'll rally the team around, regardless of there's not being Riley Leonard or anything like that. Now, I still believe in Notre Dame. You guys were my team that I said like South Carolina to compare the two. When you lost to Northern Illinois and they lost to us, you guys played some of the best football I've seen. And you got to the national championship for a reason. You had oodles of talent, and there was that, to me, chip on the shoulder, kind of, if that makes sense.